One phrase that I can say that explains this place is, and there's not a better phrase than God is awesome, and that, it shines in everything that we do.
Another reason Dad has done what he's done is, it was sometime when I was out of high school, Dad found God. And when he did, I didn't understand it. I didn't really know what was going on. And so we started putting God is awesome on everything. I'm like, well, yeah, that's cool. And so then, once I kind of understood it, that God's really the one in charge. I mean, in all honesty, God's blessed us with this. He's blessed Dad with the ability to put this place together. And it's all in God's hands. So, here goes Dad. Horrible fences, horrible brush, horrible everything out here. When Dad had it, he wanted it just for dirt bikes. No hunting, no brush clearing, no nothing. Well, 7 years later, here comes IRS. Sir, this is a pleasure item. You're gonna have to pay taxes on all this. That's when Dad was like, uh-oh, let's go ahead and get some exotic animals in here, this silly pecan orchard they put up and stuff like that. And so he had Buddy get this operation going. And Buddy hired 40 to 45 hands to put up this fence around this whole place. And it's done with drill stem pipe. And you know how heavy that is. Dad would have 18-wheelers coming out here once a week dropping off pipe. And we would have the food truck coming out here dropping off food for all these guys building this.
My name's Jordan Ballman. I'm Carl Bill's stepson. I'm the ranch foreman here at Texana Ranch. I'm in charge of all the hunting operation, bringing in animals, just everyday tasks that include, fences, keeping feeders full, everything.
He would come out here and work all the time doing the hard, bad work no one wants to do, but he did it and he never complained. And he was always very positive and nice about everything. And I'm sure I pulled a number of stunts on him to make him want to get the heck out. But I was actually truly blessed to have him come back out here and take over this place. Because like I told him, I will not hire another ranch foreman. He will be the last one here. And if he quits, then we'll just shut her down. So anyway, that's our history with me and Jordan. It's all turned out real well.
And for me, when you're a little kid, you're like, man, this is just a mean old man, and it's just terrible. But as you get older, you really appreciate the way you were raised, and I really appreciate what Carl did. He taught me hard work, and I don't think I would have the work ethic that I do now if it wasn't for Carl, and I truly mean that. And I tell him all the time, he's like, I'm sorry, Jordan, for how hard I was, but I'm like, Carl, I'm glad you were, because we weren't easy. When we met Carl, we were little hellions. I mean, there's no way around it. We really were. But I think it all panned out exactly how it was supposed to, and I really appreciate Carl very, very much.
Okay, so a little more history on how the ranch has progressed. When Dad bought it, of course, fences are junk. You could not drive down the county road to get here if it rained. And so he since came in here and had Reese Albert bring a rock crusher out here, put it at our cleachy pit, and started crushing rock and built all these roads out here. After he got all that kind of completed, kind of things up and running, got the hangar built and all that stuff is done and concreted in, and they have their own house down there by Jordan's. Then Dad would fly down here every Wednesday to ride his dirt bike. And then he'd eat lunch with Buddy and Wanda, and then he would go back to Midland. every Wednesday. And so on weekends, we came down here every single weekend, and we would go out and ride. We had to ride Saturday morning, like at 5 or 6 in the morning. Then after that, we had to go cut brush and trim trails and all that. So as a kid at the time, I'm like, well, the riding's okay, but the work afterwards just really gets old, because he would cut the branches and I got to drag them all off. And so anyway, that's where he got, where he was just really into the dirt bikes, and it was his passion. And I don't know how one man can love one thing so much, but that man, well, that and cars, I mean, he's big into that. Haley.
We just drove the Lambo. I accidentally scraped the front end. I thought I was in the Raptor.
Gramps, why are you letting her drive so fast?
Because I love to go fast.
Y'all are awesome.
Thanks,
I
Grant.
got just
Y'all are awesome. This is my only daughter, Haley.
What's the most annoying thing that Haley does?
What? You have a freaking notebook that's that long?
Question two.
Not taking out your trash.
Hey,
Crap everywhere in your room.
when we go stay at hotel rooms, Carl snores.
Oh, yeah.
So bad. A few times it was so bad that I literally went and slept in the bathroom, in the bathtub.
Just go with it?
Yes, that's where I got the idea from. Just to block the sound.
Thanks.
It didn't work.
She's, unfortunately, I started her out on a dirt bike with training wheels and all that stuff, and that didn't go too well. She'd fall in an ant bed, and ants are all in her face, and nothing went right. And of course, it was always my fault, but whatever. So that came to an end. We tried gymnastics, and those cartwheels didn't go too good. And then we did dance, and we would drive to town almost every day after school for her to do something. For years. I put like 300,000 miles on the truck for that. Then she turns 8, and these friends of ours invite her out. Hey, you want to come ride a horse? I'm like, I don't know if it's a good idea, but we went out there, and of course, she loved it. 2 years ago, she was 8th in the world in the youth barrel racing, and we're going for it again this year. She's already qualified, and she's done many accomplishments, and we've learned many things from this horse business.
My name's Gavin Olney. I'm the ranch hand here at the Texana Ranch, and my roles here are I'm a fabricator for all the stuff that Carl tears up, filling protein feeders and keeping all the animals healthy. I also guide, and when we have small groups of 2 to 3 people, I'm the cook for the ranch when we have hunters.
He's a super duper nice kid. He's a fabulous cook. He enters these cook-off things and all that. They own a restaurant in Abilene. And so when Gavin came along and could cook, I'm like, dude, I may just marry you. He came out. I said, okay, Gavin, come on out. And if you want to do some work at the ranch, you know, he had a welder. I'm like, we need some welding stuff done. And so he started with that. I was like, well, we're just going to pay for that, and that's it, like part-time deal and all that. And he did that really well. And then he started helping out with more things, like helping Jordan with guiding, helping Jordan cook, helping all that. So then I was like, let's put Gavin on full-time. And once we've done that, It's really, really nice because you can just say, hey man, will you go take care of this for me? And he will. Up here behind Jordan's house. And it's funny. Everyone's like, why is it a wood cross? And I'm like, Jesus died on a wood cross. I mean, hello. And then at one time we put fluorescent lights up it, all these different lights, and it looked funny. So we just went to these single bulbs and it made it really stand out. And I will tell you, if you go up there at night and stand under it, you get God's feeling because he knows it. And I'm so happy Dad did that.
Pretty much every big milestone of my life has happened on this ranch. This is why it means so much to me. I mean, I proposed to my wife underneath the big cross up on the hill. I got baptized right up there at the front tank, right when you pull in the ranch. I got married down at the ranch house. All my dogs that I've had growing up are all buried underneath the big oak tree down at the ranch house.
I've learned pretty much everything here. My dad taught me how to drive out here when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I had a little razor and he would hook a strap up to it, and I would drive around and he would be behind me, and there was a few times where I went off a little hill or something and he'd have to pull me back up, but he's taught me a lot of stuff out here and I've learned everything.
Whenever I first met Jordan, he did not bring me out here for a long time. He would always come out here and he'd tell me about it, but he didn't bring me out here. And then finally, after prom one year, my senior year, he was like, hey, let's just all go out to the ranch and hang out. And I'm like, finally, yes.
Called Carl one day and, growing up with Carl, I see Carl as a dad, and, I kind of knew in my heart that one day, I would probably take over for Carl. I just didn't know when. And some stuff went down. It was all just God's timing. And it was the right time to move back. And I called Carl and he got me out of a bind. But one phrase that I can say that explains this place is, and there's not a better phrase than God is awesome.